Gen Z leaders skyrocket to success with open feedback. So if you look at an example with Ben Pasternak, he's an Australian technology entrepreneur born in 1999. He's the young CEO of Simulate, and Simulate promote performance through an open feedback culture. Now he's a young CEO, basically born in 1999, so it makes him right at the very beginning of becoming a Gen Z. And he encouraged all his team members to share critiques and ideas about the company growth. So the good and the bad. So, and the bad are the sort of things that come out later, but you might get 10 good things, 3 bad things. But the 3 bad things are the things that are going to catapult the company. And do you know why? Because they're the 3 things that they believe in the most and they're the most passionate about. Generally, that's the cream that comes to the top, is the 3 things that they're really passionate about and they find hard to sleep with at night at the back of their head. They maintain consistency in their actions and messages, and they enhance team trust and motivation. So it actually bonded everybody within Ben's company and it brought them together. And, basically technology entrepreneur, any type of entrepreneur, when you come out there and whether it's Simulate or another company, promoting that open learning and that open dialogue and that sort of comradeship, you can't put a dollar figure on that in any organization. Z-Gen, Gen X, Boomers, no matter who they are, can't put a dollar value on that. So their leadership styles driven Simulate to achieve major milestones in their industry because the leadership function is rather flat, but it's open and transparent. So he's done a great job. Many triggers for motivational Gen Zs. What are their triggers? Well, Gen Zs, they want to engage, but they want to perform. That's a big thing. They're motivated by relevance. So if you're making them feel relevant, the last thing you want to do to a Gen Z is completely ignore them for something that they're interested in, or not interested in actually. Task personalization, so tailor tasks to align with individual interests. So if they've got tasks and you can personalize them a little bit, you can tailor them to be a lot more advanced at what they're doing and a lot more passionate at what they're doing if you can tailor to their intrinsic desires. Their extrinsic desires as well, but more so their intrinsic desires. And what I mean by that is what's deep, the intrinsic ones. What do they want to, what's going to make them get out of bed in the morning 20 minutes earlier on a daily basis with no complaints? That's their intrinsic desire. Their extrinsic desire is what gets them out of bed when the alarm clock goes off and they've got to make money to pay their rent, pay their bills, pay their car, pay their holidays. That's the extrinsic stuff. So the intrinsic ones are really powerful for them. When you look at feedback mechanisms, they like to establish constructive but immediate feedback. So lingering and sort of idling around, a bit like you're sitting in a boat with a shark going around and around and around would bore them. They'd rather the shark goes right through the boat. So they want constructive feedback, but they want it straight away. For example, like an online portal where tasks are uploaded and supervisors can instantly review and provide feedback. So if you've got some sort of online portal and all those tasks are listed and you can give feedback straight away without a whole task journey going through it, that's what they like to. And to fuel a Gen Z, you need to personalize impact, and that's the way you ignite them. Pretty much you blow them up like that and they steam up to go for success. So how do we leverage the Gen Z's passion for global issues? Because these are the things that they're really concerned about. They're really concerned about global, social, environmental, and ethical issues, whether it be gender-based, energy-based, humanity-based, educational-based, history-based. They worry about global situations. And there's no right or wrong in that. We've just got to accept it. We need to show support, and the company needs to show support as a whole. Otherwise, you'll lose their impact, you'll lose their pull. But the great initiatives that favour global causes will get you brownie points. And you're not really after brownie points. What you're specifically after is generating interest in interest. So I'll say that again, generating interest in interest. If I'm interested in something and somebody else is genuinely interested in what I'm interested in, then we have a really close-knit conversation. If I'm not genuinely interested in something that I'm interested in, that close-knit conversation can be frowned upon a little bit and probably resented and pushed away. So, you want to integrate social responsibility in their operations, and you want to bring out corporate messaging around these areas. And it's a way of the future. This is our workforce. This is what they care about. And this is what we need to care about, because we need to stem that workforce to move forward in relation to what our people care about. If at the end of the day, someone's interested in health, then we need to adopt and understand that. If everybody's interested in health, we need to adopt and understand that. And this generation is, as well as the global issues. So empowering decision-making with Gen Zs and their global concerns. I mean, when you look at empowering decision-making with Gen Zs, you want them to come out. You really want them to come out of their shell. Yeah, first thing you've got to do is get them away from the technology advisors. Get them away from these, right? If you can get them away from these and you can bring them onto a big microphone so that they're delivering that message over and over and over again, you've done a very big blessing to mankind. Because that Gen Z is so advanced when it comes to this technology, but they're so defined as low skilled when it comes to communication for human behavior. If you can bring the human behavior together with that, it's a bit like getting a person that's really good at human behavior, combining AI, and then you've got a really powerful obstacle machine, basically. That's what we want. If they're open for discussions, you can get them talking in team meetings while acknowledging the value around the contributions that Gen Zs make. But mental health, social justice, environmental issues, technology, global health, diversity and inclusion, these are all things that need to be implemented, not in the one day, over a course of time. But if you're leading a Gen Z, you need to start putting your first foot forward in relation to these areas, because they will tap you out if you don't. So what are the shared goals and values to influence Gen Zs? They emphasize common objectives. They foster unity and purpose. So they don't do anything unless purpose is involved. Now, whether the purpose is relevant or not relevant, it's superfluous. It doesn't mean anything to you. It's all about them. And a lot of the Gen Zs, a lot of things they look at is about them and their feelings and the way they feel about things, the way they see things, and there's nothing wrong with that. They've been brought up into a generation where they haven't had to work as hard as the previous generation. Obviously, there's been a lot more resources available for them in many instances. However, they are driven, right? So be able to communicate goals clearly, celebrate team achievements, show them that relevance. You hear these stories about Gen Zs when they're kids and getting, like the gold medal, the silver medal, the bronze medal, the blue medal, the green medal, the yellow medal, the medal for being last. You hear these stories, and whether you believe them or not, it's irrelevant, but relevance is what's important. Okay, so, bringing them together so we can achieve together is paramount. And the company Patagonia aligned employees around shared environmental goals. So they aligned people on what their strong sense of collective purpose was. They brought out what their purpose was, they brought out what their commitment was, and guess what? They brought in a whole new method of unity.